Thank you, G.P. Kelly. It was nice to hear from Tommy Flynn from the United Brotherhood of Carpenters, and we talks about challenges. When we took office, we had subpoenas and defined contribution programs that have been closed due to improper administration in the past, and the U.S. attorneys in our office all the time. So it's a good reminder of where we are, and we're going to talk about that. But thank you, General President Kelly. And thank you for your leadership, and most importantly, your partnership and friendship, not only this past term, but for the past 20 years. You know, we found ourselves over this last couple of years visiting our members, giving them disaster relief in Maui, and the raging fires in California, and the condo collapse in Miami, and Fort Myers hurricanes. And you know, we've been, back in the day, late night drinkings with Mickey Mullane and him teaching us, and late nights together with our families, church in the morning with the kids. And unfortunately, you got to see the Red Sox win the World Series at Dodger Stadium, but I don't want to talk about that right now. We've been together with the Pope, with the presidents, with prime ministers. We've unfortunately been to a lot of funerals together. And if that opening video and memorial on these walls don't do something to you in your heart, especially when you might have to fund something that's going to prevent that, you know, I don't know what will. And Mayors Villaraigosa and Menino, that's where we grew together, tight. And I just want to thank you for that, and I'm proud to lead this union with you. Thanks, brother. We are lucky to have you. I also want to recognize and thank our district vice presidents, a job that I held and a job that I certainly understand the duties of. And as the GST, that allows me to better help the district vice presidents help them in their districts. Our DVPs are at the forefront of every service and program that our great IAFF delivers. And I appreciate your dedication and commitment to our members and their families. I want to thank you to our Board of Trustees as well. They are independently elected by the delegates, and they choose the auditors who review and scrutinize the books that I'm responsible for. And a shout out to our emeriti officers, and I say it everywhere I get the chance, that our members on the apparatus floor sit under the shade of the trees that you have planted. Thank you very much. Now, there's a war on workers out there. It's been around, it's not going anywhere. An anti-union war, where we always need to be ready to fight. And we know, just as the GP mentioned yesterday, a union cannot effectively fight and protect its members without having its financial house in order. Thanks to the GST transition team for their innovative financial ideas, their hard work, and thanks to the support of G.P. Kelly, the district vice presidents, and all of our great IAFF staff who have implemented those financial ideas and completed 77 of 78 Ethical Practice Committee recommendations, and put to bed a long overdue voluntary correction program with the Internal Revenue Service for pensions that were improperly commenced in the past. I'm proud to say that the finances of our international union have never been in a stronger position as we continue on a positive fiscal trajectory. Now, sisters and brothers, you might want to take your pencils out. I got some couple of boring but constitutional things I got to get to and report to you. Currently, the IAFF per capita is $17.52 for active members, and half that for active retirees at $8.76. These rates have been in effect since last October. Our Constitution and bylaws includes an annual adjustment for inflation based on the Department of Labor's CPIW, otherwise known as the Consumer Price Index for workers. The CPIW is measured annually from April 1st to March 31st. And this year's CPIW was 3.5%. And that translates into a 58% increase to our per capita to simply keep and maintain the current services and programs provided. And inflation is not meant to grow the IAFF, it's meant to keep and maintain. The idea of keeping up with the CPIW was something that my mentor and friend, our late General President Emeritus Al Whitehead, started in 1990. It was a perfect complement to our first ever IAFF budget that he started back in 1982 when the IAFF was on the brink of financial collapse. So, on October 1st, your per capita will be going up by 58 cents to $18.10, in addition to whatever per capita is adopted this week by the delegates. For the delegates' information, 1 cent per capita generates $37,500 annually for the IAFF. You may want to take some notes on the next parts. Knowing that 1 cent equals $37,500, that translates into 3/4 of a cent is $28,125. 1/2 a cent, $18,750. 1/4 cent, $9,375, and 8 minimals equal 1 cent per capita, with each minimal being worth $4,687.50. During the course of the day, I will be informing the delegation of the amount of total per capita as resolutions are adopted and or rejected. Your IAFF per capita is your investment in your international and in the union movement. That is not something we take lightly. In fact, we have made unbelievable strides when it comes to protecting your investment. These past couple of years, the financial health of our union has been steadily improving. If you look at one thing, look at the dramatic increase in our reserve funds. The resolution from the 2018 convention in Seattle that created 21 cents in per capita to build our reserves is simply not enough alone to reach that goal. In 2021, when we were elected, our reserves fund sat with only $4 million, or 20% of the 2018 convention delegate approved 4-month operating reserve funding goal. Now, just over 3 years later, and due in no small part to the dedication and commitment of running the most efficient IAFF possible, making the hard choices, bringing in the right consultants, creating stronger financial and fiscal policies, implementing a long overdue IAFF procurement policy, creating a Canadian reserve account and a pension reserve account, establishing stronger checks and balances, and prioritizing our fiduciary responsibility, we are now at nearly $18 million, or 80% of our 4-month operation goal. Let me reiterate, our undesignated reserves have grown from $4 million when we took office to $18 million. On top of that, we were responsible and paid off a pension loan from back in 2018 when we were unable to pay our own pension obligation. That is how we protect the IAFF and the future of our union. We worked as a unified team. We made tough decisions. And we approved financial policies to give you, our leaders and members, the confidence of knowing that your international union is honoring and adhering to our fiduciary responsibility. These decisions have not been recognized not only by our members, but more importantly, these decisions have been recognized by our independent external auditors. We are proud to report that for the first time in 8 years, the IAFF received a clean financial audit with an unmodified opinion, which is the highest rating possible for audits for fiscal years 22, fiscal years 23, and we are going to do it again this year. The fiscal health of our union is and will continue to be a priority in order to protect you. Our independent auditors recognized the changes that we have made to be more transparent with our financial reports and really to better hold ourselves accountable. They commented on the fact that I personally review every expense paid by the IAFF every month, approximately 1,000 transactions every month. I ask questions. And I've shown that I'm not afraid to reject expenditures or send back invoices that may need better documentation, which the auditors appreciate. The auditors recognize the tight checks and balances that we have implemented and that we have allowed ourselves to be held more accountable to the board, to our affiliate leaders, and most importantly, our members out there on the front lines doing the battle every day. This board today has seen more contracts, more invoices in the last 3 years than they have in the last 20 years. We may not be the largest union in the entire House of Labor, but it's our top-notch programs and services that make us one of the most powerful. And as we move forward, it will be those services, the services that are funded by your per capita investment, that continue to build our power. The services that allow us to unite, fight, and organize for our members on the front lines. Our forward-looking vision is how we continue to build our union, with strength through solidarity and unity. And it was one of the driving factors of the recent IAFF employee pension reform that the IAFF Executive Board approved, who are the ultimate plan administrators. As a labor union, providing a defined benefit pension for our employees is and should always be a priority. But we also understand that those pensions are funded by you. And those pensions must be managed in a fiduciarily responsible way, which includes stopping things like improperly commenced pensions. With that in mind, this small adjustment did not negatively affect any current staff. It was done for new hires only, with very limited impact, while retaining the non-contributory benefit, which helps attract the most talented workforce possible. And this is the first ever real effort to stabilize and protect our IAFF defined benefit employee pension system since their inception in 1975. And our actuaries have estimated that we will reduce our pension liabilities by more than $75 million over the next 25 to 30 years. When it comes to the future of financial health of our international and the direction we are setting now, our actuaries said it best. Whoever is the GST in 2032, whoever's the GST in 2032 will be called lucky, thanks to the smart fiscal work being done today by our partnership and the inclusion of the district vice presidents. From protecting our finances to protecting one another, as your GST, I'm committed to going wherever the GP goes, wherever the fight goes. As convention delegates, these resolutions have been brought to you this week. Remember, you are the supreme authority of the IAFF. You will make the choice as to if they deserve your support or not. You will decide on whether to adopt them or not, or if they need more policies. You will chart the course for the future of our proud union, because you are the voice of our members. I encourage you to deliberate and think about each cost factor resolution very carefully. Consider its impact on your members and on our union as a whole. Some of them will not be easy choices, but as a delegate, it's your decision to make. Now, our Emergency Disputes Fund, sometimes called the EDF, is one of the most critical services we provide to assist members and locals battling unfair treatment by their employers on issues like failing to implement arbitration awards, precedent-setting cases, pension attacks, and guardian cases where they wrongfully go after our members for their protected union activity. It's fundamental to the work we do as a labor union. I know it all too well. I had my job on the LAFD threatened because of my protected union activity multiple times, and the EDF and the Guardian policy and this GP were there for me, my local, and my family. And knowing that my union, the IAFF, was in my corner, helped me rest my head at night with the peace of mind that hundreds of thousands of my brothers and sisters also had my back, and that we weren't fighting alone. But unwarranted and outrageous attacks from cities and counties, from fire chiefs and city managers, seem to be increasing. And our affiliates' needs for assistance continues to grow. That's where the Emergency Disputes Fund, or EDF, has your back. In my humble opinion, if there was one resolution that you had to adopt at this convention, it'd be Resolution 7. Without a doubt. The EDF fund has dropped from $6 million in 2013 to just $2 million in 2024. Due to an unfortunate rise in the IAFF's need to protect our locals and our leaders from anti-union, anti-worker, anti-pension, anti-firefighter initiatives and right-wing Project 2025 style attacks just in the last couple of years. All right, our EDF has defended locals from across the IAFF, from New York City to Chester, California, to Chatham, Kent, Ontario, and East Chicago, Indiana. It has helped locals of all sizes stand up and fight. From Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, more than 4,500 members, to New Philadelphia, Ohio, and their 32 members. Wherever that fight is, EDF is there to protect our IAFF members. It takes a local being bullied to instantly bring a powerful backup of 350,000 members also in the fight. Now, even as a truckie, I still get out there. It's nice and fun. Sometimes me and Edzo talk to each other. What are you doing? I'm waiting for an alarm. What are you doing? I'm waiting for an alarm too. I'm still comfortable as a truckie with this analogy that our EDF fund is cavitating. That means we are spending more money than we are taking in. More GPMs are going out than we have coming in. With the increasing adverse actions against our work as a union continuing to rise, the EDF balance may be gone in as little as 3 years without action today. Additional EDF funding is needed to give our locals the support of their international union, our 350,000 firefighters and EMS personnel, so together we can push back and say, enough is enough. We won't be pushed around. We won't be threatened. We aren't going to simply roll over and give in. It says to anyone out there who dares to come after our union that we are ready for any fight that you got. We have the passion, we have the determination. With the stronger and better funded EDF, we've got the funds and legal assistance to kick your ass in. Push the bully back and make it right for our members. That's how we go wherever the fight is, and I say, let's bring it. Because we know that an injury to one of you is an injury to all. And when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Could also go, se puede. You're supposed to say, si se puede. Never mind. All right.
Forget about the French Canadians.
And I'm not going to attempt that in French either. Sorry, my Quebec brothers. Let me point out two other resolutions. Let me point out two of the resolutions in front of you this week that I think really highlight the transparency and accountability that we have built at the IAFF since the GP and I took office as principal officers. When we talk about per capita resolutions, you probably think about increases only. It's usually what they are. But resolutions 34 and 35, actually, we're bringing them to you to reduce the per cap. I instructed our team to do the research, and when we realized that we were not using those funds as the convention adopted resolutions said to, we realized the right thing to do was discontinue collecting these per cap for the last dozens of years for those services we were not providing. We could have taken the easy way. I love per capita. We could have kept the status quo, but that isn't who we are. And it isn't what you should expect from your union. We have brought back the old motto, if you want it, you have to fund it. And we live by that now. But we also have to do the flip side. If we aren't using it, then you shouldn't pay for it. It's the first time I can remember in 20 to 30 years that I've been around that an executive board brought a resolution, much less 2 resolutions, to actually give back to the members and reduce the per capita. That's the accountability. That's the transparency. That's how we are doing things at your IAFF. Look, I know it isn't easy to stand in front of your members and explain why dues are increasing. I've done it while running the largest municipal local in the largest state of America. That is why we continue to look at our internal operations at headquarters to find efficiencies. It's the heart of our procurement policy. We built an approval process that requires large purchases to be scrutinized by several managers now. It's also incorporated requests for proposals into the procurement policy for the largest items. Also ensures that we are receiving the best prices by receiving multiple bids. For purchases over $50,000, we took an extra step and an extra layer and added executive board approval. Your investment in your union is too hard fought for us not to take the fiduciary responsibility seriously and create a transparent method for spending. And that's why I have been so insistent that we grow programs in the GST office to give you, local leaders, especially secretary treasurers, the tools you need to better do your job. It's why we made a hard push to help every local update their tax ID number with the Internal Revenue Service. It's why we built the reserves to jump in and work with the local who may be facing theft, unfortunately. It's why we rebuilt the local union financial report for locals, which was approved for state and provincial associations yesterday. And this helps create their own transparency and their own oversight in their operations. Union firefighters are a force to be reckoned with, but we are only as strong as our finances are. The GP and I promise you that we will continue to support our local leaders with every resource at our disposal. See, it's the power of the IAFF name and our proven track record that we always deliver for our members. Brothers and sisters, that's the importance of our IAFF. These resolutions are the roadmap for a better union, a stronger IAFF. Our membership is at an all-time high. More than 350,000 firefighters and EMS professionals across the United States and Canada who rely on all of us to build the path forward. We haven't grown by nearly 35,000 members since 2016 simply because of window stickers, t-shirts, and handouts. We haven't grown our power in City Hall and town squares by ducking our responsibilities. That isn't who we are as firefighters or union members, and it sure the hell isn't who we are as the IAFF. We won't back down from a fight. We stand up on the fire ground and in the union hall. It's how for 106 years we have built a union that has been at the forefront of every health and safety innovation in our profession. It's in our fight for fair wages, health care benefits that protect our families, basic dignity on the job with a reliable pension when you retire. This week, you have the opportunity to continue that fight, to be your members' voice. So let's use those voices loud and clear. Let's speak together to make it apparent that when it comes to protecting our profession, we stop at nothing. We will make the necessary investments. We won't back down from doing the right thing for our members and their families. We will go wherever the fight is because we know that together we are stronger. And when we unite, fight, and organize, we are unstoppable. Thank you for all you do for your union. May God bless you, your family, and our great IAFF.
Awesome job, brother. lock it, nail it. We didn't